Covering the nation from your station, this is Local News Live.
Welcome back into Local News Live. We continue to follow the horror on yet another college campus here in America. This time, Michigan State University. It's been less than 24 hours now after 3 students were killed, 5 others still in critical condition this afternoon. Joining me now is Crystal Holloman. She is a digital anchor and an executive producer at our station WILX out of Lansing. They've been providing extensive special coverage of this situation ever since it broke late last night. Crystal, appreciate you being with us. Give us kind of the latest as what we're learning about the victims, most importantly, in this tragic case.
Yeah, if I could, I would love to start with the victims because they are the most important part of this story. There are 3 confirmed victims. All of them are Michigan State University students. The first one is Brian Frazier. He was a sophomore at MSU. 2021 graduate of Grosse Pointe South High School outside of Metro Detroit. The Michigan Beta chapter of Phi Beta Delta at MSU said that Frazier was president of their fraternity. We also have Alexandria Verner. She was a junior at MSU, a 2020 graduate of Clawson High School, also outside of Metro Detroit. She was described as a tremendous student, athlete, and leader who exemplified kindness. We also have Ariel Anderson. Here we go. She was 19 years old, a 2020 graduate from Grosse Pointe North High School, and she was working toward becoming a pediatric doctor. So those are the 3 victims that we know. All are Michigan State students. We also know that the 5 who are still in the hospital are Michigan State students.
And those 5 who are still in the hospital, are they all in critical condition? That is the last update I had heard. Have we learned any more about their conditions today?
We do not have any update on their condition and if they are been removed from critical. We do know that 4 out of those 5 required surgery and 1 did not.
Gotcha. And of course, there's been so much developing information that we've learned today. There have been several press conferences overnight and today. You guys have been covering that. I know we're learning more about the shooter in this case who took his own life, but anything else that stands out, or what stands out to you today most from officials as they piece this together?
Well, there's been words from our governor, who actually is a Michigan State graduate. We also have our attorney general, whose children go to Michigan State. So this is a situation that is really impacting people across the state, including some of our leaders. And I know Governor Gretchen Whitmer was very passionate this morning. I also, if I can, play something from our Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin calling for gun control.
And I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools. And I would say that you either care about protecting kids or you don't. You either care about having an open, honest conversation about what is going on in our society, or you don't. But please don't tell me you care about the safety of children if you're not willing to have a conversation about keeping them safe in a place that should be a sanctuary. And we have children in Michigan who are living through their 2nd school shooting in under a year and a half. If this is not a wake-up call to do something, I don't know what is.
To me, that from Alyssa Slotkin mentioning that it's only been 15 months since the Oxford high school shooting. That was very, very powerful.
Yeah, that struck me this morning too when I heard that. She said in some of the video, you can see students running for their lives wearing sweatshirts that say Oxford Strong. So they're running for their lives in a mass shooting, wearing a shirt referencing another mass shooting. It really is hard to even comprehend. How is the community doing there in Lansing, in East Lansing? And you said it's in fact affecting the entire state, but are folks able to kind of process this? What's just kind of the general mood from all of the reporters as they've been talking to community members today?
Well, we have so many reporters here that are covering this story, and some of them are actually graduates of Michigan State University, some very recent graduates. We do know that really it's almost outrage that is being seen across. This was the rock just outside of campus, and very simple, very powerful statement. How many more? How many more times are they going to have to go through this? Because like you said, there are students there who are now in their second school shooting in less than a year and a half, not to mention some, if they were, say, in elementary school doing Sandy Hook, this is now their third, if you count Sandy Hook, Oxford, and this. So it's just a lot of outrage, but also there was a lot of people coming together. I know that last night when we were on campus, we saw students who were looking for their friends frantically, and then they saw them out of nowhere, and they embraced each other for what seemed like hours, but it was a few minutes of just crying and making sure that they were both safe, that they were happy to see their friends were safe. But we have a lot of reporters out getting more information on this on campus. Classes are canceled through at least Monday. All activities are canceled for the next 48 hours. So campus itself is very somber. We do have our Skycam at it, and as you can see, it is just very, very quiet. Normally, it's a very bustling campus. It's one of the largest college campuses in the country. And now it's just very, very quiet and very somber.
I can't really even imagine what it must be like there. We don't like to talk about the shooters in these situations very much, but it also is important. It's an important element of the story to figure out how to prevent these going forward, or at least try to prevent them going forward. Can you tell us just a brief rundown of what we're learning about this person and what his motivations could have been?
Well, authorities are still looking for the motivation that caused this whole situation to unfold. But what they do say is that he has no ties to the university whatsoever. He was not a student. He was not a past student. He was not an employee. So they're not really sure why the campus itself was targeted. We do know that he's a 43-year-old man, Anthony McRae. We have that much information. We're working to contact some of his family, see maybe if they know what could have caused this from him. So we're working to get that information as well.
Gotcha. And again, he did take his own life as police were closing in. What about what's next? I mean, it's so fresh. Again, less than 24 hours. This just happened last night. What is the university saying as far as classes just kind of postponed indefinitely, or what going forward is the school doing and the community tonight and into the next few days?
Well, a lot of stuff not just on campus at Michigan State University, but in the city of East Lansing, and even rippling a little bit across that into the city of Lansing, Hazlet, some of the surrounding communities. They are all canceling any city council meetings, any events, but we do have a couple of vigils that are being held tonight. We have one near campus at a church. We also know that University of Michigan will be holding a candlelight vigil tomorrow in support of the Michigan State University community.
Gotcha. And the classes are canceled for at least a week. Is that what I heard, or have they said exactly?
So classes themselves are canceled until at least Monday. We do know that there were some activities planned this week, including sporting events, some very big sporting events. Those are all postponed indefinitely. I know our sports department is working to find out if any athletics are being brought in or how they're going to handle that. But all activities are canceled for the 48 hours following the shooting. So we're about a little more than 24 hours out from that.
Well, Crystal Holloman, a digital anchor and executive producer at our station WILX, we really appreciate all the coverage from your team there. Again, so many personally affected by this latest, but so many important stories to be told. Can we just recap the victims one more time before I let you go? If folks missed the top of our interview, the 3 students, we're learning more about the 3 students who were killed, and then 5 still fighting for their lives. But who these 3 students were who lost their lives.
Yeah, so we know that the 3 students who died at 2 scenes. One was at Berkey Hall, which is an academic building on the northern end of campus, which actually borders downtown East Lansing, right along Grand River Avenue, which is kind of the main vein of downtown East Lansing. And the other one was at the MSU Union, which is kind of like a student activity center. The multicultural center is in there. But our victims are Brian Frazier. He was a sophomore at Michigan State and a 2021 graduate of Grosse Pointe South High School, just outside of Detroit. He was the president of the Michigan Beta chapter of Phi Delta Theta. We also have Alexandria Verner. She was a junior, a 2020 graduate of Clawson High School, also outside of Detroit. And she was described as a tremendous student, athlete and leader who exemplified kindness. And the third victim, out of respect for her family, we are not using her photo. It was announced by a superintendent of her high school, Ariel Anderson, when that's 19 years old, a sophomore at MSU, 2021 graduate of Grosse Pointe North High School, and she was working toward becoming a pediatric doctor.
All right, thank you so much for highlighting those victims and sharing what we know about them. Again, just the beginning stages of the follow-up reports on all of this. Crystal Holloman from our station WILX in Lansing, Michigan. You can check out WILX.com for all of your coverage. But again, thanks to you and your team for the coverage you're providing.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're watching Local News Live. We'll be right back.
You're watching Local News Live, online anywhere you are.